We have all encountered that helicopter parent that is constantly overseeing the poor scout. How we choose to handle that can greatly affect how that scout's future turns out. Hey, ScouterStan, let's talk about that issue with helicopter parent. First of all, what does that mean? It is a parent that is overprotective and wants to oversee different levels, but oversee everything their youth does. It is very detrimental. So, very detrimental to their development, very detrimental to them in general. Some helicopter parents have no idea they're hovering. They have no idea. They have none of that, okay? They mean the best intentions, of course, but it's that constant overseeing, constant correction, constant reliance from the youth to the parent. That becomes a problem into itself. Now, a lot of units constantly deal with this in many respects. A lot of times the youth crosses over from the pack into the troop, and so do the adult leaders from the Cub Scout pack move into the troop. So this happens a lot, and sometimes it is important to make sure that the new adult leaders coming in understand that it is youth led, not leader led like it is in Cub Scouts. Leader led scouting is Cub Scouting. It's a program. It's a development of character. It's all those things that Cub Scouts so good at. But once they get ready to cross over into a troop, it changes. It's done on a youth level as a patrol method through the troop. And that's a huge paradigm shift for a lot of adult leaders. So this helicoptering they didn't know they were doing, or they do, that's something that might come through on a lot of the new leaders coming in. Now, helicopter parenting can really hinder the growth, the natural growth of a youth's ability to really blossom into their leadership style. The parent doesn't know it, but they're overprotective. And they want to make sure that their little Billy or little Susan doesn't make a mistake. They're going to make mistakes. Scouting is a safe place to have failures happen. That's the wonderful thing about scouting, is we can have an environment where they can lead and make mistakes. It happens. But it's what they do with those mistakes, what they learn from those mistakes. That's the important part. And if you have a parent or a leader that's constantly just hovering over them, they can't blossom into that leader and handle those challenges on their own. Their independence and confidence is greatly diminished. So it is important that we see that we're trying to be protective, we're trying to be nice, we're trying to be helpful to that youth, but helicoptering and hovering over them and protecting them is no help. Mentoring, coaching is helpful, and that's what adult leaders are there for. They're there to help the leadership. They're there to help the youth find those skills. That is one of those wonderful things about scouting. Scouts that have been overprotective or helicoptered all their lives, this newfound freedom can be overwhelming. So that needs to be observed too. So we need to be aware that this is going on, but also knowing that they may have questions or issues or problems that they need to handle, and they need guidance. And that's where adult leaders come into it. Now, that's not always their parent. This is one of the wonderful things about scouting. In scouting, we have leaders, adult leaders, there as coaches and mentors, and they're there to help that youth succeed, to encounter these issues and overcome these issues and be able to work through them and become a great leader, not mom and dad. That's the big thing. It's the wonderful thing about it is they get to get into the real world of real leadership in a very safe environment. Challenges for a scout leader? Yes. Helicopter parents that become leaders who hover continuously over just their youth. That's not their job. It makes the youth very reluctant to take on challenges, and that is very disruptive for the entire scouting purpose. We want that youth to take on those challenges and really succeed. Small challenges at the beginning, and then bigger and bigger and bigger. That is the thing. We're building up that confidence. They don't need their parents as a parent leader hovering over them. That could be very detrimental. Now, as a scout leader, we often get a lot of feedback from our parents, and sometimes it's difficult. In fact, I have a video. That video talks about problems that might occur and how to work with parents for solutions. So definitely check that video out. There can be a lot of hurt feelings about confronting adults about their helicoptering behavior over their own scouts, their youth, their children. That's not the purpose of being an adult leader. It's a detriment to that scout. Balancing the safety and independence is critical to the success of that scout. Not having that available can be very detrimental to their self-confidence that they're building through scouting. It's important for the seasoned scouters within the unit to kind of help that helicopter parent in getting away to land, okay? And it's gentle. It's basically saying, we've got this. We've got leaders that are going to work with that youth, your youth. We've got this. Why don't you go sit by the fire and have fun? Read a book. Do something of that nature. It is important that they leave the area so that that scout can get that confidence that they can do things on their own. And this happens in high school. This happens through college even. It's crazy how parents can't let go. It is important to keep that in mind. I know that. I had a problem with that. When my young scout went from Cub Scouts into a troop, they told me, it says, no, Scout, we're going to put you on the committee. That was the first thing they did. They didn't want me going camping. They didn't want me doing all that stuff because they knew that with new parents coming over from a Cub Scouts and coming over, it was more important that they understood the structure. And it was time for their children, my child in that case, to move into their own and be able to lead their own and be their own and do their own thing. It's a safe environment. They have leadership that's been trained and experienced, that they're there to help them and guide them. That's the wonderful thing about scouting. Hey, before we go any further, I want to make sure that you are invited to come to the live meeting. The live meeting is on the first Sunday of each month at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. So please join us. Now, you're going to have to adjust for whatever time zone you're in. But please join us and join in. It's a great way to ask questions, and I'm there to answer them. Also, I want to personally thank all of the patrons on Patreon for their continued financial support. Also, If you would like to become a channel member right here on YouTube, hit the join button and go through that process. It's a great way to help fund what you see here. If you don't want to do a monthly donation, that's fine. We have a thank you button. Just hit the thank you button and make a one-time donation. That is always appreciated. And let's get right back to it. Now, communicating with overprotective parents can be difficult. But if you take it step by step, one of the big points that a lot of units do is that they have all of the new parents go into behind the scenes, which is the the committee and quartermaster, treasurer, advancement. There's a lot of stuff going on there for parents to be involved in, and we need them there. They may have a rule in the unit where you can't really be scout facing like an assistant scoutmaster or even scoutmaster for the first year. You need to be involved in the back so that you kind of get an idea of what's going on. This keeps a separation between the adult parent hovering over the poor child, their child. You want to prevent that. And it can kind of show up, but you have to be very careful with that relationship. They don't know that they're overprotective. They don't know it. So you need to make them aware of it slowly, okay? And that separation will say, I can't be constantly in the meeting, hovering over him in the patrol, and constantly on campouts, looking at him. And no, let them be themselves. Let them grow. They've never had that, okay? It is a natural instinct to protect your own children. That's a natural thing. So we need to have them have that ability. So definitely make sure you do the wording right so that you can be of service to not only the scout, but to the parent too. One of the ways to help in this regard is having a structure that's positive. There might be a task that is needed behind the stage that's semi-scout facing, like advancement. Advancement is a great place to put them so that they are helping other youth than their child. They're helping other youth to really be able to make sure that their records are up to date, that all of the different requirements for are recorded in the system. That is an awesome place for new parents coming over, parent leaders coming over from Cub Scouts. That's a great place for them so that they can kind of give that ability to step away on that helicopter behavior. There are so many strategies and ways that we can help helicopter or overprotective parents in changing into a great leader. They are going through a process too, just like their scout, just like their children. They're going through a process of learning. And this is the leadership learning that comes through scouting. So when that parent becomes a parent leader, eventually they're just a scout leader. And that is even more with all of the things that scouting has to offer. There are so many strategies. So we need to embrace those helicopter parents. Give them a place to land, okay? Let them get out of the helicopter. Let them walk around and enjoy not being overprotective, overly worried. The scout's going to burn their pancake. That's just the way it is. Scouting is a safe place to fail and learn from those failures. You learn so much more from failure than success. Parents need to do the same. So we need to be that place for them to land that helicopter and definitely let scouting thrive. That is one of those wonderful gifts that scouting gives. So, and I am so glad that you're part of this channel and watching these videos and learning new stuff. If you have a comment, please put it down below the video. I love hearing from you. Keep up all that really good hard work that you do. And I am so grateful. I want you to know that. Think about helicopter parents and how we can be the agent for change, especially on that issue. That is something that's really important. And we have so many videos here. I want you to check out a few. Please help me out by clicking on one of these to definitely show the algorithm here that it works. Until next time, I'll see you on the trail.